Welcome back.
Episode 47.
47.
All right.
It's been a little bit. We've been busy running around decon. What do we have before decon? Something I feel like.
We had Memphis. Designer. Creative Works something. Then Designer Con. And then keeping busy. You know.
Yeah. So we've been trying to fit these in. It's been a little bit, but I think this one's gonna be well worth it. It's kind of been I would say year and a half, almost 2 year build up to this point.
Totally. I mean, anything in the skate industry is super fun to touch. So the fact that it's, Tony Hawk, skateboarding, fingerboarding, it's a fun one. Yeah, it's cool.
So we're going to dig into the Hot Wheels skate, basically branding, project, packaging, everything we did for that, which will be cool.
Yeah, if you've been to Walmart, hopefully you've seen it. I'm hoping they're owning the aisles. So go to Walmart and check it out.
Today's a big day too here at the studio. So we have Skate Mayhem book.
Boom.
Third book in the Mayhem series showing up today. Palette should be here soon, so we're gonna have to bring those up.
Yeah, Christmas came early.
The books exactly. Are here. Yep. By the time this drops, it will be available up on the store. It actually goes for sale today at noon. So go to LincolnDesignCo.com and grab the book if you want the third in the series of Mayhem. We're gonna have Brandon on here, jumping on with us today.
Hell yeah.
He played a huge role, and he's played a huge role, obviously, in
everything.
Everything at the studio, but the relationship, especially with Lincoln, the old studio, and Tony Hawk and those board graphics, as well as this new Hot Wheels skate program. So,
totally. Yeah. I mean, I think his style just lends itself to this skate look as it is. I mean, Brandon's been doing it for forever. I mean, we got some like random boards here. I mean, we got. This is from 08 or something, you know what I mean? So,
Brandon, you on there? You there?
Yo, what's up? Yep, I'm here.
Brandon, what's happening?
Yep, number one.
Yeah, that
first
is it,
Tony
right?
Hawk
That is the very first Tony Hawk board ever that Brandon did. Yeah. That thing's still like...
It works.
That thing holds up.
I don't think I can articulate the excitement when that project came through the door and when it was actually completed and finished and the actual board showed up.
Yep.
And
I mean, there's a couple things in design that are damn near impossible to get. Skateboard being one.
Yeah.
A fingerboard being second. And then even shoes. Shoes is another part. That those three are kind of like, you got a gold medal. You know what I mean? So the fact that you don't even have one board, but you got a freaking million of them is just the coolest. And then now to see them on fingerboards, this is something you can actually display on your desk, Yeah,
the family really loves the fingerboards because they see them in Target and the stores, and that to them is this huge. And I try to tell them I have the real board right here, and they're like, no, it's the fingerboards that are out in the world that everyone sees that we really care about. So the family gets really excited anytime I get calls all the time. Did you do this one? Did you do this one? This one yours? And it's easy for people to collect my artwork via the fingerboards.
I mean, anytime I go to Target, Walmart, wherever, my wife's bummed. I got to go down the fingerboard aisle and just see do we do any, what do they have? What are the skate parks look like? So it's easier to collect.
I'll buy a whole entire set just to get like the one deck that I did.
Totally.
Get rid of all the other ones. Yeah.
Yeah, it's easier to collect 100 of these, versus 100 of the real boards. Dan knows. Yeah. Every time you move, you gotta. Yeah.
Nothing's heavier than a skateboard.
Yeah.
The actual skateboard decks get a little tough after a while.
Totally. They do. Yeah.
And when you got 700 of them, it's
at first it's the most exciting thing in the world. You're like, yes. As a guy that loves skateboarding that was never sponsored, it's rad to get free boards. But then after a while, you're like, wow.
I'm sure you're just like, no, I'll do the illustration, but no more boards, please.
Yeah. I'll just keep the digital images from here on out.
Well, so that I think that board was back. I want to say we have a board here from 2008. That must have been 2006, 2007, I think.
Yeah, I feel like 2006 was the real beginning.
Yeah.
I think I'd only done one other pro graphic before that one for real skateboards. That Raymondetta was probably the only other one before that.
Raymondetta, which we actually have that board sitting around here. Will did a little thing with that.
We'll always have that.
Yeah. I mean, but Peter Raymondetta, for the people who don't know, back then is like your skater's favorite skater. Everybody knows Tony Hawk.
Yeah,
that's massive. But
real skateboards. Boom.
Really
there it
good.
Is.
There she is.
Remember that thing?
Just an awesome idea for a graphic that really utilized my style well.
It holds up, man.
And then they did the whole top.
Yeah,
that's gnarly.
Top print.
Yeah,
amazing.
They're not doing that shit much anymore.
They got a small margin on that board. That looks expensive.
Totally.
Yeah,
because they did the 3-color, 4-color on
top
the
hit.
Yeah, as well as the big blast. But yeah,
it holds up still. Shout out to Peter Remendetta out there. That dude's a legend. The fact that that's your first board, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's rad. Yeah. So we have a couple hanging up here, a couple of the older boards from Tony Hawk. In the Skate Mayhem book, there's a bunch of the Hawk and Birdhouse boards.
Yep.
I mean, we're fortunate enough to link up with Tony, and then specifically Birdhouse Skateboards. They weren't far from our office in San Diego, their headquarters, so we'd go up there every once in a while. We did boards for Kevin Staub, just a bunch of different dudes that were at
on the Birdhouse team.
Team at the time.
Dude, this Staub board, dude, this Staub board, we're gonna,
yeah. I also like that Kevin was really a part of those. Like, he was really on board and a part of creating those, which is great.
Dude, and these are big ass boards. Yeah. These are like,
so just kind of playing off the original graphics there, just kind of bringing them into the modern age a little bit and adding a twist to them. But
yeah, I mean, I think some of the boards we did even ended up in Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2, which I think, this one up here. But just the fact, I mean, it's like fingerboard, real board, video game. It's like those are the shit that, I still dream about. You know what I mean? That's like just hard to come by. So
for sure, it's been a fun run. We're still working on boards, a lot more of big mass market, kind of stores and things like that, but definitely still stuff in the works for Tony Hawk and that whole thing. So
still skateboard on the list every couple weeks at least.
Absolutely.
Yeah, all the way up to doing, when he's partnering with Mattel, all the way up to doing stuff with Tony for that, which I don't know how all that came about, but the universe was, it
aligned.
It did the right thing, because the fact that we've done work for Mattel for eons and Tony for eons, the fact that it's come together, it's only right.
Yeah, I couldn't be more excited when Mattel reached out and said, hey, we're going to do this fingerboard thing. We have Tony that is involved. Like, do you guys want to do the branding, packaging, and work on this? And it was like, absolutely.
No brainer.
Yeah. I first sent them basically a list and kind of graphic of everything we've done for Tony, and we're like, basically like, hey, you can't go with anybody else because we've done all this shit for Tony. We know him, we know the boards, that whole deal. So
and we had the assets already. I don't even know if Mattel had the assets. We'd have to ask them. But the fact is, like, oh yeah, we already have starting off points with a lot of these pieces. So
for sure,
landing both of those together might be equivalent to landing the 900. You know what I mean? Like,
thank you. This is the best day of my life.
Very true. Very true. Yeah, so let's jump into this. So let's look at kind of how this whole thing started.
Hell yeah.
In the beginning, it had a different name. It was called basically Hot Wheels Boards.
Boards, yeah.
So we did a bunch of logos. We did some packaging comps for that. So let's check it out. So originally called Hot Wheels Boards. The first part of any big project like this would be the logo and branding, kind of setting that style and look. So here are 6 comps we did for that.
These are pretty fun, dude.
They are fun.
That bottom right one, that O being a skateboard, is kind of sick.
Yeah, that one's great.
Yeah.
Kind of consumer products, toy, aisle look and feel.
We started off with some packaging as well, and it was a lot of fun and almost easy because we did have these assets where normally I don't know if we would have gotten it much, so the fact that we had these amazing illustrations to base our stuff off of made our job easier.
Yeah, it was our board graphics and everything we were using. So, we know the property, we know Tony, so we were able to mock up these package designs with the boards and the whole deal. So when doing any packaging, you always have to keep in mind, how is this going to ship? How is it going to fit into a larger box with multiple units in it?
Yeah, when you're talking about shipping, you're talking about Hot Wheels shipping a million of these to Walmart, not single one-off shipping, which we think a lot about single one-off shipping, but this is like...
No, this is like big boxes with a bunch inside. And so that's where, you can, in Illustrator all day, you can have fun with that die line and that die cut and go crazy. But in the end, that thing needs to end up at the store without the blister card being bent and cracked. And so the die line, you can get fun and have some fun with it and get a little crazy, but you can't have little things sticking up here and there that are going to get folded.
Totally.
And then the store gets in and goes, these things are all screwed up.
Back in the day, I remember learning about this J-hook, this being a super important piece. You got to think how these are going to hang. Is it weighted properly? I mean, this thing's in the center, you know, is it going to hang all sideways? We're not doing that type of engineering, but somewhere someone's doing some straight up math equations and engineering, and shout out to those dudes.
For sure. Yeah, so ran through the blister card comps, and then so the next piece of that would be to apply that look to a box, similar to what you've seen here behind us. These are actually the playset boxes. That's where you get the skate park and that whole deal in there. So now what does that look like? How are you going to create this cohesive package from the blister card to the box?
Totally.
So that's where we dug into these. They wanted to see, what does Tony look like as a character, as a mascot? You know, let's do some icons. Let's kind of head in that direction. So that's what you're seeing here. These didn't end up getting used at any point.
But just to see even the ideas are so fun to see. I mean, look at that loop. I mean, we all know Tony did the full loop. That's super fun. To see the 900 degrees with the actual degree symbol on there, that's super fun. And even the Hot Wheels, like anybody, probably not many people, but whoever's been to Hot Wheels location, they have that actual Hot Wheels logo that's full size. And I think at the time Zion Wright had skated.
Yeah, we got to pop that in. I think he always off that thing.
Something, you know. So, and every time we go there, I mean, I'm not good enough, but I'm like, damn, I want to skate that, you know. So just a little ode to that with Tony skating it, you know.
Yeah, these were fun. And then kind of this struggle, they had this idea, hey, let's see what does it look like if the skull, you know, the
hawk skull.
Yeah, the super iconic hawk skull is actually skating and has legs. So
that's freaking fun.
It's
dude.
Yeah. I'm not sure if it worked or not.
It is kind of creepy.
Yeah,
but
it's a little
I like
creepy.
It. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just that board slide one is super funny.
It's funny. So yeah, so then basically from there we kind of hit a pause. Mattel did their thing, and they came back to us with, okay, we're going to switch gears a little bit. Let's take this in a bit of a more skate traditional direction.
Yeah, let's go a little less corporate and let's go true skate, which we're like, oh, fuck, we could do that too.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. Dude, this sketch is sick. I don't know if I've ever seen this version of the sketch.
Yeah, Brandon, this is like the first one, I think.
This is probably like the second or third. So we were starting to play with the scale of things more here. At first, it was more of like a map. They didn't really want it to look like a map, like you could go from here to there. They wanted it to be more chaotic and imaginative. So
yeah, I'm geeking out here. I see Hubba Hideout. I see Brooklyn Banks. Maybe FDR.
Got Wallows right there in the center.
The fact that we have some tie-in to true historical skate spots, to me, is just super fun. You know, if I were to have a kid and they have this, you know, the kid doesn't know or care, but I'm like,
yeah, the parent
jacked up, like, damn, they put Hubba Hideout on there. I'm buying this shit. You know.
Yeah, another challenge was we wanted it to scream kind of that 80s skate, but not kind of the stuff we've seen before. Before it'd be kind of like a, dare I say, like a Santa Cruz or Jim Phillips style. We wanted to kind of get away from that, do something a little different, but still have it immediately kind of give that same vibe.
Yeah, which is cool. Yeah.
Yeah, which to me is going to be a nice, strong black contour line. And then second, good traditional like poppy colors. That's kind of like that OG skate.
But also looking at more current kind of animation and stuff that's going on to get more of that kind of look with the line art, you know, kind of simple, kind of thin lined. Lots of little detail, not a lot of like shading detail, but just lots of little graffiti and slime and cracks, and you know, just things that younger kids would kind of be like, "Oh, cool," you know.
Yeah, I'm finding stuff all over. I mean, maybe this whole thing is even set in Venice because you're on the beach, you know, and they got the dope skate park in Venice on the beach. So,
see, again though, that was still looking too map to them. They were seeing, you know, they were seeing perspective. They were like, get rid of all that and it's just chaos. So again, you see just playing with the scale of stuff. Like before you saw that hydrant was more normal. Fire hydrant's getting bigger, which is also a shout out to that old Nodus trick, you know, that fire hydrant. So just little subtle call outs to, you know,
This is called key art for everybody out there. So it's one piece of art that basically sums up the look and feel of the line, the packaging, the whole deal. So what Brandon is doing here is basically developing the key art for the whole brand. They said from the get-go, hey, let's illustrate each piece on its own, and then let's make this big scene. So that's kind of what you were doing here, right, Brandon, with all these different pieces?
Yeah, so then I just started laying it out almost like a big sticker sheet so I could see everything. I wanted everything to start at the same size so the line weights would all match. But then once we vectored them, now they can just be blown up to all different sizes. But it was helpful to just lay it out more like this and kind of get them all about the same general size initially. And then so when they live trace, they'd be all consistent.
We're going to see on the top of this page, kind of creeping down from the top, are the two fingers on the board in the little shoes, which is cool that we ended up putting that on the logo on all the packaging. And then we'll show later how Frankie turned that into 3D and made some sausage fingers and animated that whole deal.
Hey guys, let's take a look at what we got. Pretty much they sent me a deck and some shoes, had the idea of a hand ollieing with it, but we only had the 3D models. The product wasn't made yet, so, the solve for that is just do it in 3D.
That was kind of a key part because in reality that's kind of what differentiates this thing, which is cool, is that you do get the shoes, you can lock into the board, so it was cool. That illustration
I think
was
it was
great.
really important to them to not look like the other fingerboard company out there. Just the whole look, and we looked at some of those initial logos; they looked a lot techier like that other brand. They wanted to look different.
Yeah. So then, as we started to move on further, we needed a logo. Brandon, you worked on the logo, went in a couple different directions here.
You can see they really wanted to minimize the skate at this point and just kind of remix their existing logo and just have skate really small.
Which I can imagine, they're coming into a whole new space. It's already pretty risky. If you don't have that logo on blast, even more risky. You want to have that, IP from the past, your past however many 40, 50 years to lean on. So yeah, it's like, from a business standpoint, let's make that Hot Wheels logo massive so at least people know, I like this and I trust this.
That was really fun too. Like what they let me do with their logo, like they were really into all these ideas and they really let me stretch it and get crazy with it. I was shocked to see that they actually would take their logo like that and just make it so crazy.
For sure. Like these, we narrowed it down to these three. That bottom one where the actual Hot Wheels type is like moving outside of the shape is kind of fun.
So sick.
Yeah, these are all modular too. So that Hot Wheels comes off, the shape, the flag, the skate comes off. That's all separate too.
That is cool. You can see on the left there, Dustin, you mentioned the Skate SKA. Those, all the little icons. Type now.
Just that little sword. That thing is sick.
Right, Tony Hawk.
Yeah, we could, on this page, top right, we could see what's at the South Bank of London. We could go down a little further. I think that's FDR, Brooklyn Banks on the bottom.
That's actually the chin ramp too.
Yep.
Where's that?
Next to the pool.
Oh, yeah. Right there. It's got arms coming out of the chin ramp. Yeah. See right there?
Yes.
I don't think I ever noticed that the chin ramp was in there.
Yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah.
Did Tony remake
So I'm
that
saying
ramp?
little hidden things. Yeah.
Wasn't this ramp by your house, Dan?
Oh, it was. It was in Oceanside. It was right next to Transworld's headquarters in a field in Oceanside, and I bought my first house in Oceanside. And yeah, it was built in that field, and then they ripped it down. And then they rebuilt it in Woodward. Yeah, up here in LA for like a photo shoot or something. But yeah. So, and going back, so I was going to mention earlier, Hot Wheels is like not new to skate. Like they've actually sponsored skaters for a long time. I mean, Cab's been on their team forever.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, they had Zion Wright, and they've had a team of, where they do sponsor skaters for a long time. So, but yeah, so moving on here. So this is the final logo lockup up top. You have the key art on the right, and then if you look to the left, some of those are the play sets. Some of them are, like Brandon said, the chin ramp. So you have all these different pieces that make up this one piece of key art. And then there's the rest of them, all those pieces, the little Hot Wheels. The Hot Wheels sign, Brandon, is sick with the two posts.
Yeah, and everything had to be skatable, even like that shoe's kind of skatable. Everything was kind of supposed to be, skatable. This just kind of whole world of just skate, or fingerboarding, I should say.
And then we started to work on basically different segments for the skateboards. So they have like the oddities segment, they have competition series, this and that. So each of those segments needed a logo. It's on the back of the packaging, kind of small in places.
Hot Wheels competition.
Yeah,
it's pretty sick.
Yeah, so it's another added piece that we're continuing to work on here. And then Tony Hawk Originals, so those are his original graphics in those. So it's an ongoing project in partnership with Hot Wheels. And so here's a bunch of the final packaging. So you got Tony with the whole set at his ramp in Vista. We've been up there a couple times to have meetings back in the day, but super cool. See him backing it, using it,
With the classic birdhouse shirt on too.
Yeah.
Looking good.
Yeah, feel good.
In that, so on this next page, you have all the packaging, and then that bottom left, the fingers on the logo skating. Like, that is super fun.
At some point, we developed a whole T-shirt line.
We did
to all this.
Yeah.
Which was utilizing the same assets and
Yep.
Yeah, building out more and stuff.
We did an actual aged up kind of version where they're like one color that you worked on, Dustin. Yeah, which was cool. And then a style guide for all the graphics and usage of it and everything. So yeah, that's kind of the whole look on that whole deal. Brandon, you crushed it on that. It was a little bit different style. I love
it called from a couple different areas of my skills, but it was kind of new, but still use some of my old techniques.
I mean, it's rad. We have the packaging here. You can find all this at Walmart. So we have a bunch of it in front of us. It's cool. Some of them come with actually a car plus shoes plus board.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, and then you have the different play sets and skate ramps and everything. So some of them are based on different, like an aquarium and donut shop and the whole deal. So
yeah, we're gonna be building one of these, and
absolutely,
we were gonna build a whole setup, but I don't think we need to now. We could just hit the the donut shop.
We'll just use that. So
hell yeah.
Yeah, it'll be cool, and I can actually get involved because I'll just put my fingers in the shoes and skate. Go. So yeah, no, it's cool.
Shout out to the sky hooks right there.
Right,
old school.
Yep, exactly. Well, cool. All right, Brandon, that was fun. There's probably gonna be more to come with this project and client, but yeah, you crushed it on this one.
As long as they keep making play sets, I'll still have to do all the illustrations.
Yeah, so every play set has an illustration on it in the bottom right. So Brandon's still working on some of those right now, so which is cool.
Hell yeah.
Yep. Right on. All right, man. Thank you, and thank you, Hot Wheels, Tony Hawk. Like we said, this is a dream collaboration of two of our bigger and longer term clients. So to see it all come together in one, it be skateboarding, board graphics, packaging, logos. It's exactly what we do and love. So
meant to be.
Can't think of a better combination. All right, so I think we got a question. Will, what do we got here?
Ryan Johnston writes, "Hi Lincoln Design Team. Congrats on the completion of the project. What were the goals for the project and what were some of the biggest challenges? Did you get a chance to skate with Tony?"
A lot of times with a project like this, I mean, the client, basically determines those goals. What are their goals in the industry, in the market, in the aisle? A lot of this was like, hey, there are fingerboards out there. We're going to do this thing different, and it needs to look different than the competition and everything you've seen in the past.
They did lean so core and came off as core. I mean, they got freaking Tony Hawk. A lot of the spots are like, replicas of traditional historical skate spots that, you can't be mad at that.
Do we get to skate with Tony? No. We've been up to, he has his headquarters in Vista. He's got his huge vert ramp in there. We were up there a couple different times for meetings.
Yeah.
And we have the San Diego studio, but no skating.
That would be like Tony maybe drawing with us. You know what I mean? It's like we have no part to be on that ramp. I don't think any health insurance is good enough to be on that. What is it, 20 foot?
Yeah,
how
massive.
How tall is that thing?
It's a big one.
I mean, you're getting concussed or doing an ACL or something on that thing. So
one good story though I do have from that ramp is it was first second time we went up there. Tony's sister, Pat Hawk, was giving us a tour of the headquarters. We were walking down behind the ramp, and they had a video game, 720, the old skate video game, sitting underneath the ramp, and it was all dusty. And we were kind of like, hey, what's going on with the video game? And she was like, I don't know. Tony's had that for a long time, this and that. We were like, oh, cool. That thing's rad. I can remember playing that, this and that. So went back to the office. That next day, we got an email from her saying, hey, if you guys want that video game, just come up here and get it. It's yours. Merry Christmas. And we're like, fuck yeah. So we grabbed a truck and headed up there and grabbed the video game. So,
and I remember the old studio, office. That thing was front and center. You guys got some fresh graphics on there. Honestly, very hard game to play. I didn't grow up playing it, so 720 is freaking tough. But just to have that big ass console, in the room was so sick.
I regret selling that. I sold it when we moved up here because it was so heavy.
Thing was massive.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm not going to transport that up here. And now looking back, even Carrie, my wife, is like, you should have never sold that. I'm like, I know.
You could make a fake one.
Right? Yeah. But Tony didn't give it to us. You know what I mean? Like, that's the...
Great point.
Yeah, there's some sentimental value to that thing, but...
Yeah.
So
yeah, everybody's got a Walmart nearby. Cruise down the toy aisle, check them out. Take a picture, tag Lincoln, tag Tony Hawk, tag Hot Wheels. Shit, do a kickflip.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
There it is.
All right, we're out.